step to failing in ministry. Many ministers are more concerned about the work than the God of the work. Example: Mary and Martha. 1. When you focus on the work more than the God of the work, then you stall in ministry. The ministry will suffer. Mark chapter 3 verses 13 to 14, your first ministry is to be with the Lord. When you skip the first, you miss the rest. Your flight is not in your flying but your waiting. After you have been with the Lord, then He will send you. Until there is a walk, there can never be a work. Before you can work for God, you must first of all walk with God. Act 4:13. Desire to grow yourself. Grow yourself in the secret and He shall reward you openly. Don't pray for growth, pray for capacity. Matthew chapter 25 verses 14 to 30. Ministering to men is burnout of ministering to God, Act 13:2. Dedicate hours that belongs only to God. The first thing God does when you have been with Him is that He changes you and your character. 2. Inability to manage people. When you are unable to manage people, the vision will perish. People perish for lack of vision, vision perishes for lack of people. God does not see us where we are now but sees us where you are going to be. That is why He is patient with us. Know how to endure, know how to be patient. Know how and when to rebuke and curdle. 1 Thessalonians 5:14. 3. Poor relationship between the pastor and his wife, bad marriage, 1 Timothy 3:1-5. Number 1 area of assessment is the relationship between the pastor and his wife, your home. Your family life must be in order. You won't do well in ministry if you can't rule your home well. As a pastor, your home is number 1 to carry out your leadership skills. The worst story of reproach is when you fail in marriage. There are many pastors that are married but not husbands. Being a husband is a rile of responsibility. Your first duty is to love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave Himself. Women are relationship-oriented. Romans chapter 5 verses 6-8. The examples of parents will become the principles of children by giving time to your family. God first, wife second, children third, ministry fourth. Your priority must reflect respect for your wife. Must be a husband of one wife. Anything, person or whatever you give time to more than your own wife is another wife. The church has become the wife of many pastors. There is a place only your wife should occupy. Organizing and agonizing in ministry. When we need results we agonize, that is, we agonize in prayer, we agonize in the Word. Isaiah chapter 66 verses 7-8. Agonizing involves pains, groanings, travailing. Romans chapter 8 verse 26. Agonizing make things work without explanation. John chapter 16 verses 21-22, Galatians chapter 4 verse 19, Matthew chapter 21 verses 13-14. A church comes under demonic attacks when it refuses to agonize. We can't organize childbirth but agonize, travail. Agonizing involves consistence pressure. Men always to pray and not to faint. Philippians chapter 3 verse 14, it takes agonizing in prayers for long hours to open heaven. Cloud of glory is sufficient in ministry and life when constant, sufficient agonizing is made. The cloud will pull the crowd. Agonizing will help you birth the church and organizing will help grow the church. Agonizing brings the people, organizing keeps them. Agonizing is spirit work, organizing is the brain, mental work. Every complaint in the ministry means there are lapses in the system. Your ministry is not just an organism but an organization. It requires lots of administration. To arrange all elements into interdependent parts, to arrange by systematic planning and united efforts. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 16, Daniel chapter 6 verse 1. To organize is to make someone more effective and productive.